All right, men. Good morning. It's 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's time for another episode of The Call. We've been doing this for almost a year now. So we're going on a year. Bunch of men getting together, talking about life, talking about business, talking about health, talking about spiritual things from time to time, you know what I'm saying? So if you're new to us, if you found us on YouTube and you're interested in joining this group of men who get after it, encourage each other, hold each other accountable, then hit us up. We might let you in, you know what I'm saying? We might let you in. So I think we're going to put a little application together and for real, and kind of screen you a little bit to make sure that you're a good fit for this group. So, hey, guys, we got a exciting call this morning. One of my great friends, Russ Tanner, is on with us this morning. And so I'll tell you a little bit about Russ. Russ is a former SEC Georgia Bulldog standout at the position of center on the offensive line. He played in the early 2000s in the David Green, David Pollock era. So were you all SEC?
Yeah. Let's go with it. No.
You know what's funny is I always tell people that you were all SEC. I don't know why I always think that you were all SEC, but in my mind,
you can keep it going. I mean, it's not a lie if you believe it. So yeah.
Russ was almost a professional football player. He gave a good try at it. Maybe he learned a lesson or two there. I don't know. But Russ also is now he is a very successful local business owner in town. He does mortgage lending, and rates are low right now, baby. So we'll talk about rates at the very end. I'll let Russ kind of give his little commercial to you guys. If you guys are interested in saving some money on interest, I did refinance here recently. I think I had like a 4.6% or something, and I thought we were at the bottom at 3.3, but we weren't at the bottom. We've gone down a little bit lower than that. Where are we at right now?
Hard timing just right.
Where are we at right now?
You know, a little bit better than you got, but you still do good, baby boy.
Okay,
you still do good.
I feel okay about it, you know. I feel good. But Russ also is a man of faith. I respect him a ton for his faith. And I wanted to read this verse because this is the verse that I think of when I think about Russ. It's James 1:27. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. And I think of Russ there because, well, number one, his wife started a nonprofit in the last year or two that cares for women who are pregnant or just had a kid or something like that. And so again, Russ can give you all the details, but they did that, and they also adopted several years ago as well. And so you know, there's been a lot of good and a lot of challenge with that in Russ's life. But again, as the word says, that is pure and undefiled religion. So respect you for that, Russ. Love you, brother, and I'm glad you're on this morning. So drop some fire for us, my friend, and then we'll ask you some questions after you share for a little while.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me come. Appreciate Benjamin and Clint for kind of organizing this, and seeing a few names pop across the bottom of the screen. I know some of these other guys on as well. So thankful to have the opportunity to talk for just a second. It's interesting when I was asking Clint, I was like, man, what do you want me to talk about? Because I think I'm a man of many interests, so I could cover a lot of topics and talk about something with a little bit of knowledge, but I don't know that I'm an expert in anything. And I asked Clint, I was like, man, what do you want me to cover? I was like, whatever you feel, man, whatever you want to talk about. So my assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's a group of guys that, not many superheroes on the call, not many people that from the outside in, people look at you and say, oh, that guy's a freaking rock star in everything in life, because those people we look at are they're very few and far between. I mean, most of y'all are probably like me, just very normal dudes, a family on some level that you're trying to take care of. Maybe you don't have a family, think about one day. I mean, who knows where you're at in life, but I mean, we're all just trying to show up every day and do our job, do it well, and whether that be mortgages, owning a gym, being a somebody that does remodeling and carpentry, or just how you go through life. Like, we're trying to be successful, and what does that look like, right? I think we know, and y'all probably talked about this a ton, like the things that don't define success are pretty easy to grasp. And for me, I think the Lord kind of put me on my knees back in college, because I grew up small town Georgia, down in Wrightsville, Holla, Johnson County, representing. So I grew up really small town, rural Georgia. I graduated with 68 people in my senior class. Like a big Friday night out for us was going to Dublin, riding through the Walmart parking lot. I mean, that was what was up. I took my prom date my senior year to Red Lobster, and that was the second time in my life I'd ever been to Red Lobster. So, I mean, I didn't come from, really anything big, fancy, or super exciting. And all through high school and really up into that point, I had a pretty singular focus. And for me, man, I wanted to be an athlete. I wanted to play football. I wanted to play college football specifically. And everything I did revolved around that. Now, when I stopped to think about what I thought would come from that, I thought, all right, that's going to give me hopefully money one day, because, I'm going to be the first center to be the NFL MVP. Probably going to make somewhere between $50 and $100 million in the NFL. So, that'll be good. I thought, well, it'll bring me popularity. People will like me, because who doesn't like a stud athlete? And, if they build a statue of me down in my hometown, then, I'll definitely be popular and have something going for me. Thought it's probably going to help me with the ladies. Red Lobster biscuits are fire. I do agree with that. Probably going to help me with the ladies, and all this stuff. And I just thought, man, everything in my life revolves around this thing for me, which was football. And I mean, I'm assuming that's not the same for all of you guys. But we've all had something in our lives that we focus on and think, if I'm successful at this thing, it sets up everything else, right? I mean, if I'm good at football, if I'm good at snowboarding, if I'm good at whatever it is you guys are on this call at being good at, you think, if I'm excellent at this, everything else will fall in line. And those things can be good. There's nothing wrong with football. There's nothing wrong with owning a gym. There's nothing wrong with snowboarding or whatever it may be. But for me, like, that was what I thought was the good. I thought that everything else revolved around being good at football. So if I was good at that, then all of the pieces of my life would fall in place. So, I go through high school, like a lot of guys at Georgia, if you play on the SEC level and you're a scholarship guy, I mean, you've had pretty good success in high school. And, I was a big kid. I was athletic. I was smart as far as making grades anyways. The actual how smart I was is debatable, but I made good grades and, thought I was pretty popular. Thought I had a pretty good luck with the ladies. Although if you look back at my track record until I met my wife, that would definitely tell you that's a lie. And I thought I had all this stuff going for me, and I got a scholarship offer to UGA. I came up here to play football, and I thought, man, I have freaking arrived. I mean, I didn't even know that I hadn't even really started my journey yet. I thought, all right, I got it, man. I've hit my goals. So all these other things are going to go really, really well for me. In that first year at UGA, I redshirted, which was a little bit different for me. Y'all may or may not know anything about Wrightsville, Georgia, but there's not a lot of 6'4", 280-pound Division I linemen coming out of Wrightsville, Georgia. So, when you're down there playing, like, you're pretty much on the field all the time. And it really doesn't matter how good you are. If you're big enough and can move faster than the other guy to the front of the buffet line, okay, that guy can probably play. He's big and can move. So, I've been used to being the man my whole life with football. And, I kind of raged. I was like, all right, I don't know about this, but all right, I can work hard. I get it. I grew up on a farm. My pops made me work. All right, we can go. We can make this happen. So then, I get to my second year. I've kind of found my groove a little bit. I adjusted to life in Athens. Tell you guys how I knew I was not in Wrightsville anymore. I remember my freshman year, my mama called me and I was like, hey, Mom, I was a little bit homesick, ready to be back. And she was like, So like, how you doing, babe? So I'm good, Mama. So what y'all up to? She said, oh, sweetie, I'm getting dressed and we're going out to eat. We got a new restaurant in town. Your daddy's taking me out. I said, oh, what restaurant y'all get? She's like, Subway. So, you know, when your mama's getting dressed up for your daddy to take her to Subway up in the square in Wrightsville, you know, you know, things have changed when you're in a place like Athens. So, you know, I get into that second year of college and I thought I was really finding my groove. I had a chance to start that year. It was me and another guy named Ian Knight who were competing to be the center. You know, I had a chance to play a lot or at least start. I thought, all right, I'm going to be a business major. This is going to go well. Sign me up for finance, accounting, and economics. I've made good grades before. I'm smart. So if I'm athletic and smart, yeah, baby, you know, I'm going to make it one day. And then I thought, all right, okay, I need to hit that trifecta. I need to be popular and have a girlfriend. So I found a girl. I was like, all right, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. I like it. Well, when I thought that everything revolved around football kind of set me up to be successful, 3 days before our first game of the year, we played Clemson to open the season up. And it was a Wednesday practice. We were in shells, which just means shoulder pads and shorts. And I was going down the line blocking. I felt my hand get smashed. And if you ever had your hand smashed from a face mask, you know, it's just a bad feeling. You just kind of lose all sensation in it. And I heard, I was like, oh, son of a gun. But then I felt something warm and liquid on my hand. And like, I think I'm tough. And I'll be honest, like, if you bleed, I don't care. Okay, that's your blood. If you die, that's on you. You know, if you bleeding, like I could deal with that. But if I'm bleeding, it's a freaking problem. Okay, we need to call the ambulance. We need the doctors around. Like something bad is happening to your boy. And I had blood running down my hand, and a chin strap buckle that snaps right up there at the top had gone in my finger and come down the back of my hand and sliced my 2 extensor tendons totally in half. They were hanging down over this knuckle, like totally severed. So, and if you're a center that has to hold a football and snap with your right hand, typically that's not the injury you want. Okay. I mean, it just doesn't go well. So I had to have surgery on my hand and I was out 8 weeks. I was like, crap. This thing that has always been what I've been striving for since I was like 12. I knew this is what I wanted to do. Football was it, man. Like it was what was important to me. Gone. Just didn't, it was gone. 8 weeks on the bench, nothing to do but rehab my hand. Like, well, all right, I can do good in grades. People think I'm cool because of grades. I'll gain respect if I do good. Well, finance, accounting, economics, management information system with a lab in the middle of football season. In hindsight, not my best semester. So I normally don't tell people this till after I do their mortgage. So Clint, you can listen. Everybody else, put your earmuffs on. But the only D I've ever made my entire life was actually in finance. And that was that semester. I made a B, 2 C's, and a D in that semester. Like, oh, man. So this whole academic thing, kind of struggling. Well, okay, football's gone. Grades are struggling. Oh, yeah. I'm popular. I got a girlfriend. So I had a girlfriend, and I was living the Athens life a little bit. I did not know until I got to Athens you could get into a bar even if you weren't 21. Who knew that? So was trying to party and have a good time and live that life and had a girlfriend, you know, thought that was going to give me some fulfillment. And guess what happened? She dumped me. And if the girl dumps you, you're like, man, she ain't even that good looking. Like, you know, you kind of hit a bad spot in life. So, you know, here I was, man. I was like, all this stuff that I've been focusing on that I thought was the center of making me popular, that making me respected, that makes people like me. It was all gone. And I mean, I was literally to kind of the end of my rope with that stuff. And, you know, I grew up in church. I grew up in, you know, family of believers as far as a community of faith. So I had a foundation, but I'd forgotten everything that I'd kind of grown up on. I'd kind of tried to do my own thing and blaze my own path. You know, we're Americans. You grab yourself by the bootstrap and you buckle up and you work hard and do all the things you're supposed to do and it's going to work. Well, all that stuff got snatched away from me. It wasn't because I wasn't working hard, but it was because my focus was on the wrong place. And you know, I'm opening my Bible app because I want to read you guys a verse. So I'm not checking text this morning. And you know, I remember calling my daddy and I was like, Pops, man, I'm done. I'm ready to quit. I mean, my dream was to play college football. And here I was, you know, University of Georgia, starting lineman for had the opportunity to be a starting lineman for SEC, you know, everything you could ever dream of. And I was ready to quit. And I told my dad, I was like, damn, I'm done. I'm coming home. And, my daddy's a grown man. His name is Ed, spelled with 2 D's. All right. He's a diesel mechanic and a farmer. Like, he don't freaking play. And he's like, "You quitting, boy?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." "Well, I understand that, man got to do what a man got to do. So yeah, I mean, it's Tuesday. You can pack your stuff on up, come on home. I'll put you to work tomorrow. We got some fence in these buildings. You can work for me. Like, my daddy would kill a man on the farm. So I thought for a second, I was like, I might could tough it out back up here in my dorm room where I get to do what I want to do and be a member of the football team. Or I could go work for Ed and drive fence posts for the next 20 years. And, I would be in great shape, by the way. I mean, my arms would be enormous. But I was like, I don't know. Let me just see how it goes for another week or so. He's like, "Well, if you stay, you better get your butt in gear and get right." So during that time, so my daddy was a tough love guy. And, my mama was praying for me, and she sent me some Bible verses, and it's kind of been my verses for life that have sustained me a lot of times. And it was Isaiah chapter 40, verses 29 through 31. It said, "He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases strength. Even youth shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up on wings like eagles. They'll run and not be weary. They will walk and will not faint." And, and it was the first time to me, like, I realized, like, I could not be the center of the universe. Like, if everything revolved around me, like, it was going to crumble. Like, I am not good enough, man. Like, I will screw it up. Like, I'm a jacked up sinner that doesn't do things right. As hard as I try, I will mess up. And I realized that all the things of the world that we can see, the temporal things that we can touch, talk to, see, whether it be your profession, whether it be your family, whether it be your mentor, even if it's your parents or your wife, like, at some point, like, they're going to fail you too. And it's not because they want to, it's not because they don't love you, but they're imperfect sinners just like you are. So if all of your life is being focused on something that does not last, that is flawed, at some point, if that's your foundation, it will crumble. And that's what happened to me. And I was like, man, I've just been in this place too long to where, I thought I could bring my own success just by working hard and doing the right thing. And I was really humbled through that, and I had to really refocus where I was in life. And the good Lord really humbled me with it, and fortunately gave me an opportunity to kind of bounce back and, pursue those things, because I love football. I still do. Change a major so that I could be successful in the classroom, and, end up finding a woman who would be an excellent wife, not just a girlfriend. And all those things, though, were now part of my life revolving around what mattered, revolving around what was good. And that's kind of where things changed for me. Went on through college, started 3 years, won 2 SEC championships, like Clint said. I don't think he gave me credit for 2, by the way, but it was 2 SEC championships. Not quite all SEC, although I like the ring of that. I got married in college, had a cup of tea with the Indianapolis Colts, got cut from that, and, came back, and it was fine. The big difference was when I got cut from that, like, the foundation for where life was for me had changed, and it was okay. It was time for the next step. And here I am 15 years later. I'm married. I have 4 kids. We live in Oconee County and have a pretty good life, all things considered. I'm really thankful for that. But, I was talking to a young guy working with me this week. And I think what I told him comes from that story I just told you guys. Like, now, don't get me wrong. Like, and I don't know, Clint, if I'm getting off topic here, you can correct me. I know this is not necessarily the morning devotion time with Pastor Russ, but, so much of what I do in life does have to revolve around just having faith. And I'm way, way far from being perfect with that. But, I told my guy this week, I was like, man, one of the cool things about being a Christian in business, as a family, as a father, is like, now, don't get me wrong. Like, we are not called just to name it, claim it, and say, oh, things are going to go well just because I'm smart and good. I mean, the Lord wants us to work. He wants us to prepare. And it's like, if you're a farmer, like, man, you got to plow the field. You got to get out there and pull the weeds. You got to roll your sleeves up and work the ground. You got to till the soil. You've got to put fertilizer out. You've got to plant the seed. You've got to cover it up. You've got to do all the things to keep the varmints out and make sure that your field has an opportunity to grow. You can do all those things you want to do, but you can't make the sun shine. You can't make the rain fall. Like you can work, you can prepare, you can do all the little things that you've got to do in order to have a successful crop, whatever that harvest may look like for you. But you can't make it happen. That's just the way it is. Like you've got to work. If you don't work and do your part, like there's no chance for it. So you work, you prepare, you do the things that bring success, and then you have to be really focused on allowing the Lord to work and seeing Him be faithful to make the sun shine, to make the rain fall, so that your harvest can grow. And there's a lot of freedom in that for me, that my success is not totally on me. My success is on me working hard and doing the right things and being consistent with how I go about it. But ultimately, like the Lord decides my success. And I'm thankful for that. It takes a lot of pressure off, because, having a wife and 4 kids and insurance and 401ks and all this stuff, like there's a lot of pressure with that, right? It ain't easy being a dad and a husband. And I think that's where it's at, as far as like people ask sometimes, like, what's the key? Not people, like one dude ever has asked me, what's the key to your success? And man, like, I don't have any secret sauce. I think for me, it's just trying to be consistent, just showing up every day and doing something to try to move the ball further down the line, doing something to try to give myself a chance for success, so that when the rain comes, when the sun shines, my seed is ready to grow. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I think I've been going like 20 minutes, and I know you had a few questions on there. So maybe we could switch that gear for a second. Because I will, I'm a Southern Baptist preacher somewhere down my line. So I'm wired for like 35 minutes. So yeah.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. We've been friends for what? I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 9 years, somewhere in that vicinity. I don't think I've ever heard that full story like you just told it. So I'm glad you shared that, kind of testimony, man. That's legit. And I mean, that is the root of it, I think, is just coming to an end of yourself and being like, okay, if it's all on me, we in bad shape. I mean, that very similar testimony to mine. So like I said, well, I didn't say this, but I actually met Russ for the first time when I walked on at Georgia. He was playing when I walked on, and I didn't have no business out there whatsoever. Those guys threw me around like a rag doll. Now, I will say that if I'd have stayed on the team, which I should have, it's probably one of my regrets in life is that I quit. I shouldn't have quit. I should have just played it out. But I did get invited to summer camp, and I didn't go. But if I would have stayed, Russ, you probably don't remember this, but that particular year, I won't say it was 2004, but y'all had a lot of injuries at linebacker, like a ton. Yeah. Like I might have gotten a little playing time that year.
I see you on a punt team. You had a little special things there.
Our friend Tony Taylor, he's one of my good friends, played high school ball with me, very good linebacker at Georgia, and played a year or two with the Falcons. And he got on to me so bad when I quit. He's like, man, what's wrong with you? And especially towards the end of the year when they had injuries. Anyway, I got to know Russ better when we went to the same church for a little while, and then he joined our gym. So, Russ, you've been kind of hot and cold with fitness over the last since I've known you.
Yeah.
And however, you're on a hot streak right now. Last 6 to 12 months or so, you've been on a hot streak. So I want to ask you, what has contributed to your hot streak recently?
Oh, man. So, when I got done, I'll spend like 2 minutes on this. When I got done with football, I was 24, 25, and I've been working out, 10, 15 years, it seemed like, consistently, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I quit. I went like 4 or 5 years without doing anything. Got back, joined the gym with Clint. Me and Duke Gibbs were working out together. 3 of us were working out pretty consistently. And I found out that I'm not made to be alone. I do much better with people. It's probably because I'm an offensive lineman. So we operate in herds typically. So did well with that. And I was rocking and rolling. And then not because of Clint, but had some back issues, thanks football. So I had to have back surgery. And that kind of set me back for a couple of years. Just couldn't do it. And then kind of up and down, back and forth, trying to get it done. And then, like Clint said, beginning of this year before COVID and the world shut down, I don't know, I guess I quit going to the gym, wasn't working out, didn't really care what I was eating. And I got on the scales, and the heaviest I remember seeing it said like 316. But I probably weighed about 320 pounds at some point. And I played at like 290. So I was like, man, 300-pound dudes just don't live very long. I mean, you just don't. Like the life expectancy if you're over 300 pounds is like 54 years for a former lineman. I was like, man, I want to see my little girl get married. I want to have grandchildren. I want to be with my wife a long time. And I just decided, man, like I've got to do something differently. And, David Pollock is my college roommate. He built a gym at his house and, couldn't go anywhere else at the time. All the gyms had to shut down. And he's like, man, come out here and work out with me. So me and him and two other guys started working out. And it just worked well for me. I liked the guys I was working out with. There was positive peer pressure to, eat a little bit better, make better decisions. And then I started seeing progress and people started saying, hey, good job, man. Like I'm a words of affirmation guy. So people say, hey, good job. And then my belly's getting smaller and I'm feeling better. My back doesn't hurt. Like you realize, all right, I need to focus on this again. So yeah, it's 6 or 7 months now of being fairly consistent back at it, of eating better, not great, eating better and working out more consistently. And I definitely have seen improvement. So yeah.
That's good, brother. Hey, look, if you guys have a question for Russ, you can either just unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can add it to that chat box there, and we'll ask Russ a question there. We got about 20 more minutes. I've got several other questions, but I don't want to hog all the questions. Benji.
Yeah, I got something. I haven't seen Russ in a year or two, maybe somewhere in there, and I could tell the second he got on video, I was like, Russ has been in the gym. I don't know what he's doing, but you look great, Russ. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
thank you, man. Put Russ on a rower, man. Whew. That is danger.
So for the record, with the rowing machine, we were on a group thread with another buddy about his brother-in-law Clint about a month or two ago, maybe longer. And they were starting to talk trash, but they could row with me. People love to talk trash to me because I'm big, right? Every little man wants to whoop the big guy in something. Clint, don't tell a story about when you body slam. I don't want to hear it no more. I had a hurt back. Like it was another time in life. It won't happen again. But they got on the road machine. They're feeling good about themselves. I was like, man, get out the way, little boys. Let Daddy Rabbit show you. So I'm not great at a lot of things in the gym, but rowing and sprints is one of them. So yeah, man. I loved her. Actually bought a rower yesterday. Clint found one on Amazon. The Concept 2s are back available. So bought a row machine to go in the house to be able to do it. So yeah, I mean, look, man, like the deal with working out, again, you can look up any diet, any fad you want to look up, but it's just like what I said earlier, it's just consistency, man. Like the thing that makes me good at being a mortgage banker is like, I freaking show up. Like I answer the phone. Like what's your secret to success? I call people back. Like it's not that hard, right? We try to overcomplicate everything and have the grandest plans we could ever imagine to be good at something, when the majority of the time you just got to show up and do it. You got to show up and do it. You've got to read your Bible. You've got to answer the phone. You've got to go to the gym. Like it ain't that freaking hard. We're just lazy a lot of times. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm lazy a lot and I have to fight that. So, yeah. I enjoy being in the gym again, though. I enjoy being healthier, and my wife look at it and say, "Hey, that's a lot better." Like, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Benjamin, I'll let you get back to your question here in a second, but I tell this story a lot, but probably about a year or two ago, I was watching a kind of like a continuing education video series with one of the top strength coaches in the world. And he said verbatim, basically what you just said. He made this comment. He goes, guess what? Every diet works. And, as a fitness professional, people just get all bent out of shape about this program being better and this nutrition program being better and this, that, and the other. Everybody's kind of got their own thing that they think is right. And for a world-renowned strength coach to say every diet works, it's kind of like, whoa, what did he just say? But that was his point. Every diet works if you do it, if you follow through with it. Every diet.
One of my favorite things I've heard, by the way, from Clint being in the gym, because I mean, we all hear things our professional like, what did they just say? This has probably been, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. Clint had a lady comes in. He's like, hey, why do you want to join the gym? She's like, I want to lose this baby fat. He's like, oh, okay, sweet. How old's your baby? Oh, well, he's 9. Okay, well, at some point it's a life decision that we've made. It ain't an excuse of something else.
That ain't baby fat no more, girl. That ain't baby fat no more. Benjer, what was your question, Big Daddy?
Well, yeah, and I just want to follow up on that too. I was talking with some agents yesterday. I was on like a mastermind agents that sell real estate, and they were talking about how the sales pipeline tool that we have, needs some things tweaked, and it's, people are complaining, and one of the people spoke up, and he just said real directly, 99% of the problems that you're having have nothing to do with the tool that you're using, and all to do with the fact that you're not using it, period. Like, people aren't making the calls, like Russ said. They're not following up. They're not doing the work that they need to do. And we create this in any area of life, fitness or whatever. We blame the diet, or at work, we blame our boss, or we blame these things that are outside of our control that have a small amount of impact on our situation, rather than, focusing on any diet works, any tool works, any job that you have, you can be successful in. It really comes down to, are you doing the things that you need to do? And that's what I kind of want to talk to you about, Russ, is like, you do show up and you do make the calls. You do follow up with people. Like, having a brief stint in Athens real estate, like, anytime I ever sent anyone to you, like, I didn't have to worry about it. It was gone, out of my mind, knew it was going to be taken care of. But in your business, beyond you've got a team, you've gone beyond that. What does that look like for you? How do you lead? How do you win with a team beyond just, showing up and making the calls, et cetera?
Yeah. And man, I'm really glad you brought that up, because when I thought about this morning, I was thinking about praying about what to talk about this morning. And I forgot about my second main point, and you actually just literally led me back into it without us talking about it prior. So thank you for that. But consistency, and then having people around you that are good at what they do, that's my secret sauce, man. Like, that's the key to my success, because you can't do it all. It goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, you are not good enough by yourself to do everything and be really good at it. There's only so much of you to be done. So, I've been very fortunate to have some really talented people that really care on my team. And if you look at like our group of people that are with us, like, you wouldn't typically go pick them out of a lineup from interviews and say, oh yeah, that's the person. Look how high their GPA was. Look at what a awesome college they went to. Look at how accomplished they are in all these other areas of life. But you find people that are genuine, that care, and that are willing to be trained and to learn. And then I had to release myself trying to control everything and making everybody do it the way that I wanted things to be done, and allow room for the people who work with me to figure out what we're trying to accomplish and how to put their spin on that. And it's worked great. And the cool thing about it is, when that happens, you realize a lot of your deficiencies because of other people's strengths. And then you end up building a team where you can really complement each other with it. So, like if you see, I get to be the pretty face, not very pretty for it, but you get the front man on that stuff. But for any loan that happens, there's a minimum of 5 people on my team that are either scrubbing that loan application to make sure they're right, that are following up to make sure, hey, Benji, we need that W-2, need to get it back in, because if we don't get it, that loan's not going to go through. Another set's make sure we got our title, our appraisal in, that's following up on those small details, because I'm not a detail guy. Like, I really struggle with details. From an underwriter to approving it, to a closer to getting the loan package out. And like, they all do their job and they do it really, really well. So I think we've worked hard in our business to create an environment where people have the ability to be a self-starter and have the flexibility to get their job done without being micromanaged. And when you find people that care, that are smart, and that are willing to learn and work hard, you can be really successful with that. I hired a girl recently, like 3 or 4 months ago. She came from a bank environment, which is hilarious to me, because they, you got a dress code, and you got to punch the time clock and make sure that you close your cash drawer to make sure every penny is accounted for. And you've got to make sure that you've done every TPS report available, or else we're not going to be successful. And we laugh because we call her, we say, man, you are so bank. Like, just relax and come in here and work and get your job done. She's like, well, what's my lunch break? I don't know. Well, you're the boss. Well, no, I'm the branch manager, but you're your own boss. Like, you got to decide. So, what's my lunch break? I said, look, let me tell you something right now. If I'm concerned, if we've got to have a conversation about how long you're taking for lunch, you can't work here no more. Like, you can go work somewhere else. If I've even got to worry about your lunch break, I don't care. I said, are you going to get your work done? If you get your work done, you do what you're supposed to do in the time frame that you're supposed to get it done in, you treat people well, and we don't have to follow back up on you. You can take 7 hours a day for lunch if you still get your stuff done. So when you allow people the freedom to operate how they want to operate within the parameters of what you're trying to accomplish as a team, then they can succeed. And that's what we've done. So we've got a great group of people that don't have to be. I hate being micromanaged. I absolutely hate it. Apparently I have some issues with authority when it comes to people calling and saying, hey, fill out this report. Hey, do this, do that. Like, I absolutely hate that junk. And so I don't want to manage like that. So, you know, I don't know that I've answered the question, but I got people that care. I got people that are loyal, and I got people that have learned what to do, and then they make it happen without me having to follow up. Now, and they screw up, you know, and when they screw up, and it happens a lot because I screw up as well, you know, there's grace with it, but you assume the best of intentions if you know the people and you know what they're trying to do. And man, that's where it gets really, really awesome. I mean, because we do a lot of loans. We've been very fortunate with that. And our process is smooth because everybody knows their job and they care about it, and then they do it really well.
That's good. Hey, look, we got a couple of callers that are maybe in their car or something. So I'm gonna be quiet for just a second or two and allow you to unmute yourself and ask Russ a question if you have one. All right. If you don't have one, I got one final question for you, Russ.
All right.
You know, you as a high profile D1 athlete, you know, you've been around some pretty awesome coaches. So what is maybe one of the more impactful lessons that you've learned from a coach?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, for probably the better part of 15 years, from when I was 10, when I was like 25, you know, and I knew I was going to be an athlete on some level. You know, you have coaches in your life. You have guys all the way from Coach Rick, who, you know, if the Baptist church had a pope, he'd probably get on the ballot at some point in time. You know, to where you have people like my offensive line coach who, you know, I laugh, and the nicest thing he ever said to me is, well, Tanner, you did that up too bad. Okay. Thanks, coach. Feeling good about that. You know, I mean, it's so funny when we talk about business and life and all that stuff, and being a parent, being a husband. You know, probably the one piece of advice, and I mean, I could sit here literally for hours and talk about things that stand out from coaches, but the wide receivers coach at Georgia Homes there, Coach Eason, John Eason, just a great man. And I remember talking to him one day. He was a wide receivers coach. I was an offensive lineman. Okay, so Coach Eason didn't have much to do with me. Like, he never taught me technique, never worked with me on anything to do. It wasn't his job, you know, and I probably wouldn't have listened anyway. But just a wise guy. And one day he was asking, we were talking about something off the field, and I was complaining. I was giving this excuse, and oh, well, you know, we had Seattle protection on, and that guy came through the wrong gap. So, I mean, I don't know. I might should have had him. I don't, you know, whatever it was, just making excuses, grumbling. He like, Mr. Tanner, let me tell you something, son. You're in the SEC. This here is a bottom line business. I don't care what your reason is. Did you get it done or did you not? And, you know, at the end of the day, like, so much of life is a bottom line business. You know, it's working out. Do you do it or do you not? It's a bottom line business. Controlling your diet. Do you do it or do you not? Having a devotion or quiet time is a bottom line business. Are you doing it or are you not? Like, it's just not that complicated. You know, life's so much. Being a good husband. Are you doing it or are you not? You know what your wife likes. You know what she loves. You know what fills her tank. Are you doing it or are you not? I mean, and it ain't somebody else's fault if you're not. It's on you to do those things. So, you know, that's kind of, I don't know, Coach Eason saying, Tanner, this is the SEC, son. This is a bottom line business. Like, that was a life changer for me, because I was like, there you go. I got to the Colts. Tony Dungy had it up on the locker room before he cut me. And he's like, like literally his saying was, you know, pretty simple. No excuses, no explanations. But I don't, no excuses, no explanations. Yeah, but what happened? No excuses, no explanations. Either you get it done or you don't. And the NFL, you talk about like the truth teller. Guess what? If you don't get it done, well, you get cut, and that's what happens. So yeah, life is a bottom line business. Unfortunately, it is. And the good thing is, and I'll say this, you can rap however you want to. As a person of faith, the good thing for us is the bottom line is already taken care of if you're a man of faith and you believe in Jesus. So when the bottom line's already been settled for you, that makes everything else a little bit easier in life.
Totally. Amen to that, man. All right. Well, hey, last few minutes here. Tell us a little bit about how you can serve us if we need your services. Mortgage wise, if y'all are looking to save a little money on interest, over the next 30 years, how can you help us out? What differentiates you, and how can we get in contact with you?
Man, you can find me very easily. I mean, you got Clint's number if you ever need something, mortgage advice, conversation, just to talk about it. Happy to help. Online, AthensLender.com. Pretty easy to find here in Watkinsville. And you know what, man, like people ask them, what makes y'all different? Like, look, rates are rates. Everybody's got the same rate. It may vary a little bit from lender to lender, but at the end of the day, when people shake it down, like your credit and your profile is going to determine what your terms are. I think that the thing that differentiates us is, like we said earlier, man, we call people back. We just try to treat people well. We deal with people every day, and the thing we're dealing with their house and their money. If you list like the top 5 or 6 emotional things in life, people's house and their money are pretty high on those lists typically. So, we try to understand that when we're talking to people, realize that they don't know how the DTI relates to the LTV, and if the FICO has anything to do with the PMI. Like, they don't know that stuff. It's technical mortgage stuff that is boring. You just try to talk to people and help them make the best decision for their family. I had an agent tell me one time, she's like, Russ, I like using you. I'm thinking, because obviously I'm very smart. I'm a great communicator. I tell funny stories. I play the SEC. I got a lot of stuff. She's like, you got a way of talking and just not sounding smart. What? So, okay, thank you. So, we just try to communicate and treat people well, man. And, if you treat people right, usually things turn out well for you in life.
That's good. That's good, brother. Hey, well, thank you again for coming on this morning and dropping some heat like I knew you would. Thanks for encouraging us, man. And if you need some services, the man to call. Russ Tanner, Bank of England, right? Is that the
BOE, baby? Classic lending group. Yeah.
Yep.
Purchase and refi, throw it in. I mean, things are going well, but daddy got mouths to feed. So
that's right.
Y'all give me a holler.
Hey, thanks again, Russ. And you guys can unmute yourself and say goodbye. Go get after it, man. It's Friday. Bottom